more music. Why don't I play a little more and then...
play some more music?
Yeah, yeah, you guys replace the battery. We'll do a little bit more.
Ironically, batteries dead.
That may have been user error. Ha ha ha. Welcome. It's so nice to have all of you here. If you are here for the first time, there are visitor cards that you can find near your hymnal. And if you'd like to know more about the church, please feel free to fill that out and then put it in the offering plate when it comes around later. The only other thing, in order to start, is if everybody could take their cell phone out, and turn it off. That would be great. We start by lighting our chalice this evening. We gather together on this Christmas Eve as fellow sojourners looking for light. We gather as people from many backgrounds with different spiritual paths. But as we light this chalice, we gather as one body looking to the Nativity for its message to all of humanity. Its message that there is light and there is hope and there is always peace to be found. Every year we tell the tale of a pregnant teenager and her fiance making their way to Bethlehem to be counted for the census. Once there, she gives birth to a baby in a strange land around people they do not know, in an environment that was less than ideal. The story is as old as dirt, as common in the ancient world as hummus and baklava, as constant as sand stuck to one's feet after a long day of wearing sandals on a warm day. In other words, this miraculous birth, this son of the divine story, no matter what tradition it is told in, and there are many, strikes a chord in our hearts and minds. It fires up our imagination and lifts up our hope. This story of Jesus' birth in particular lifts up the humble, common, downright shocking news that God is one of us, that we too have the holy within us. Jesus' ministry was one of lifting up the least of these, of reminding everyone we all have light within us. He proclaimed that we are all responsible and accountable to a larger love. Not just love for oneself, but for one's neighbor, the stranger, even the annoying clerk at the store. Perhaps especially the annoying clerk at the store. For this love he championed was not something that people deserved or earned, but was given freely, fully, wholly. Deserving or earning love was irrelevant for Jesus. For him, love was the condition upon which we experience the holy and share of ourselves in communion and recognition of the holy condition writ large. This love held belonging and understanding and communion. For years, I've wondered how it is that this baby grew up to be a shining example of the best that we can be in the world, of an enlightened human who, in his living and loving, came to be an advocate, a champion for the poor, the forgotten, the disenfranchised. And my wondering has led me to fill in the gaps of the story of the characters who are missing, who indeed perhaps helped inform and assist this mother and father in raising a child that held on to a certainty that there is no hierarchy of being in the world. So tonight, on the celebration of Jesus' birth, I offer the untold tale of the so-called secondary characters who informed and surrounded this ancient tale. I invite you to join with me in singing our first hymn. This is the only one I'm going to have you rise for. After this, you can sing in your seat, okay? But if you would please rise as you are willing and able and join in singing our first hymn, The First Noel.
Angels did sing, certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Did and saw a star day and night. Noel, 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 Noel. Born is the King of Israel. And by light of the star, the Magi came from country far to see a king was their intent, and follow the star wherever it went. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. You may be seated. Tonight's offering goes to the Heed Fund. Sometimes life hits you hard. It's just what life does. And sometimes we aren't always prepared for it. Whether it is for people who are members of our congregation or people who are not, we try to help people out when they need it most. The fund has helped with emergency shelter when food with someone is laid up with no relatives or able-bodied friends around. The fund has helped with cars breaking down in need of repair when someone's job is reliant on transportation. It has helped with things you cannot even imagine that you'd worry about if tragedy laid you sideways. The fund is there to remind us all that often our own safety nets are more of a privilege than we think they are. That others have safety nets with big holes in them. Some never had a safety net to begin with. The fund, friends, is our collective way of reminding each other we are our brother's keeper, that we are called to love our neighbor as ourselves, that tender moments, tragic moments deserve attention and love. So now, in the company of one another, let us take this evening's offering. Once upon a time, in a far-off land, wise men saw a sign set off across the sand. Songs of praise to sing, they traveled day and night, precious gifts to bring, guided by the light. They chased a brand new star, ever toward the west, across the mountains far. And when it came to rest, they could scarce believe their eyes. They'd climbed so many miles, miracle they prized. It's nothing but a child. Nothing but a child can wash those tears away and guide a weary world into the light of day. Nothing every mother kind, and every father proud looks down in awe to find another chance allowed. Nothing but a child can wash his tears away and lead a weary world into the light of day. Nothing but a child can wash his tears away and guide a weary world into the light of day. Nothing but a child can help erase those marks. So once again we all can be children for a while. Nothing but a little baby, nothing but a child. I invite you to get comfortable in your seat for a time of prayer and meditation, followed by some shared silence. Please turn inward with me now. It happens every year on December 24th in warm weather or frigid frost. In southern or northern halves of the globe, it happens. This awakening, this rushing of the spirit, this primal yes to life. This reminder that maybe, just maybe, there is a star above us too, guiding us to joy and an inclusive love to all who are considered odd or different or misfits. To a reminder that maybe, just maybe, we each hold deep within a calling to heal the sin-sick soul, to connect with the other, to hold out our hand in love when we know not the answer to the gesture. To a reminder that maybe, just maybe, life is more than other people's judgments, more than the things we've been told we must do, more than the should and the should-nots. Perhaps it might just be true if we are silent long enough, then in the company of one another we can hear that still small voice within or without that says, say yes tonight. To usher in more justice, to be the calm against a storm, to offer love to those who don't deserve it or earn it, to be the light in the dark, to offer loaves and fish to all that want. Perhaps it might be true that above you is a star, guiding you to all that you are, all that you can be. And perhaps that star we seek is also seeking us, needing us, trying to tell us that through us, a new day is waiting and wanting to be born. May the silence we have shared continue to hold and heal us all. Amen. Hannah was 7 years old. In December, her dad turned away so many guests. The census takers new to town had taken over the mayor's house, and throngs of travelers converged on the city. Hannah's folks, Habib and Ruth, ran a bed and breakfast of sorts, and their house was plumb full. There were guests spread out on camel skins and wool blankets in the living room. A single fellow had taken up residence in the bathtub, and so Hannah was now sleeping between her parents as a family of 5 took claim of her room. Habib woke at 4:30 a.m. to get a head start on the chores before his guests untangled themselves from bedsheet and sleep, waking hungry and raucous. Earlier in the week, a maid had quit in a huff, mad about overtime hours, so the family made up for the deficit. Assigned to towel duty, Hannah found herself offering guests linens and inquiring as to the slumber. It was on one of those nights right before her mom had called her upstairs for another Scheherazade tale that the doorbell rang yet again. Habib dreaded this moment of turning yet another away. All week they had tried to make their home open to as many as possible, offering discounted rates and flexible payment schedules to weary travelers. He had persuaded neighbors, not akin to guests, the need for hospitality. He had organized volunteers to bring their family tents to the public parks so latecomers might have adequate shelter. Habib even let a number sleep free, for fear of turning any way out into the cold night alone and unsheltered. And yet, it's not enough, Habib thinks to himself. We need a no vacancy sign, he mumbles as he opens the door. Hannah nimbly squeezes her small body between her father's long legs and the stucco door jamb. She wraps her arm around his hip, slipping her fingers into his back pocket. The travelers introduce themselves as Joseph, and he points to his wife, a young pregnant woman seated on a donkey. That's Mary. Though the young woman appears tired, Hannah thinks she looks like a lollipop, round and sweet. She is holding her hand on her stomach, wincing occasionally, rhythmically. Their exchange is quick. Her father explains that not a room, a closet, or a bathtub is left. He truly is sorry, considering Mary's condition and all. Unfortunately, the best I can do is let you use the stable. Joseph spies the neighboring houses, then lifts his hand to Mary's cheek and murmurs something. Hannah mirrors the gesture with her own warm palm on her cheeky jaw. That would be just fine, says Joseph. I'll see if I can find you a few blankets, says Habib. Thank you kindly, says Joseph. And any chance you know of a midwife in these parts? Yeah, says Habib. 2 houses down. Ask for Miriam. Soon they wave goodnight. Habib shuffles into the house, exhausted and concerned. His wife, Ruth, says, I'll bring out the blankets, love. Go on up to bed. Hannah leans against the door jamb, transfixed by the young couple. Joseph jerks the halter, leading them to the manger, shortly disappearing into the black veil of night. Hannah whispers goodnight and trounces up the stairs. She gets on her bedclothes, slowly, patiently, waiting for her mother to return. And when she does, they all climb into the big bed together with Hannah in the middle. Soon the house is quiet, and a measured breath fills the room like a familiar melody. She rests her head near her mother's long chocolate brown hair, inhaling lavender and musk. Years later, she will remember this moment of hot, sleeping breath, the rise and fall of her parents' bodies, and the enveloping feeling of being loved, cared for, safe. For now, she can hear the harmony of breath of various house occupants. She lays her hand on her father's wide back and whispers, Your heart is big, Papa. a big heart. Then the familiar sleep song starts singing to her drowsy soul, and she falls asleep to the collective breath of the house in continuous round. A big heart, a big heart, a big heart. It sings back to her in time. Would you join with me in singing O Come, Emmanuel, which is 225 in your hymnal? When they reach the stable, Mary slides off the donkey and takes in the sweet aroma of newly laid hay. Joseph finds a corner near the other animals, pulls some stray straw from a loft, and forms a makeshift bed. He then gathers some water for the beast and for Mary. And as Mary takes a sip, she spills it on the ground as her body is abruptly throttled with pain. Her water breaks, soiling her clothes and the ground. And her breathing catches, gasping for air. This child of hers is coming quickly, fiercely now. Tears stream down her face. Tears of pain, of fear, of worry, of concern. Get the midwife, she calls through gritted teeth. Joseph jogs to Miriam's house and knocks urgently. A drush of adrenaline emboldens him to call out in a half-contained shout, more to himself than other, please come, please come, please come, please come. And then there she is, Miriam, at the door. Joseph explains the need, and Miriam says, with no more questions or inquiry, I'll be right there. She grabs some supplies and rushes to the stable outside Habib's place. Upon arriving, Miriam settles into what she is meant to do, into her own gifts as a midwife. She calms Mary with a hand on her shoulder and offers a pattern of breathing to ease some of the pain. She looks Mary in the eye and tells her with no uncertain terms that she is strong and brave. She's got this. Mary nods her head and practices her breathing as contractions grow and abate, grow and abate, grow and abate. While Mary breathes, Miriam asks where they are from and inquires as to Joseph's occupation. Carpenter, he replies. Ah, says Miriam, a noble profession. She tells the couple how frustrating her carpenter friend Shafir can be, that he would indeed call the two of them illegal immigrants or foreigners in occupied territory, and undoubtedly accuse Joseph of stealing jobs away from his own construction business. Miriam explains how Shafir speaks of those who are not of his clan or tribe as unclean and filth. As she says this, Mary shrinks into herself and her breathing becomes shallow and slow. But then Miriam takes Mary's face in her hand and says to her, "My dear, there is no such thing as borders or boundaries. You are a child of the universe. The politicians and armies make imaginary lines and say that which was yours yesterday is mine today. But we are all God's children. We are as vast as the stars above and as different as the grains of sand, but we are all one. No foreigner, no illegal. We are all God's children." And then Mary's breath comes back to her, and for the next hour, she breathes and sweats, and breathes and cries, and breathes and moans, and breathes, and into the world comes a slippery mocha-colored child whom Miriam wraps in a cloth and lays the babe on Mary's chest. Mary looks down at this child and sings him a song she knows to be true and right. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who you are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who you are. Would you join with me in singing hymn number 246, O Little Town of Bethlehem? the morning starts to turn into night. 3 rabbis from different tribes walk out of the inn. As they were settling in the night before, they overheard the exchange at the front door and were hopeful that indeed a child had arrived by morning's first light. The 3 of them walk out to the stable, introduce themselves, and offer to the couple their blessings to the newborn babe. The first rabbi said to the child, "I anoint you, little one, with this myrrh. May you always remember these words. If only the world were as kind as a child can imagine it, may you be a gift of kindness and light for all." The second rabbi knelt down beside the child and anointed the child with frankincense on its forehead with the wisdom to remember to love one's neighbor as oneself. He then touched the child's ears, blessing them with the wish that they will listen deeply for what is right and true. He touched the child's mouth in blessing next and called forth words of compassion and empathy for all he encountered. He moved to the child's small hands and held it in his own, blessing the child to use its hands to heal, not curse the world. And finally, he held the child's tiny feet to walk in righteousness and peace throughout the world. The third rabbi took Mary's hand in his own and left there a small bag of coins and said to her, "May you take this gold and use it for your own health and safety, and may you use it for love. Love for each other and love for the people of this world. Do not mistake one for the other. Money can never buy you love, and love cannot supply money, though love's worth is far greater than any coins you will ever amass." And then the 3 rabbis said their goodbyes and walked off into the awakening of a new day. Would you join with me in singing number 259, We Three Kings of Orient Are? occupants of the inn heard news of the new baby and made their way outside to offer up well wishes for the child and a welcome to this world. This couple, without home or family or friends or anything of value at their side, sat in gratitude for the love given to them. Love received with no strings attached, no requirement of reciprocal engagement, no obligation of a reward or a favor in kind. Just this blessing of being, of warmth and acknowledgement. And while people came to offer their congratulations and welcome, Mary closed her eyes with her babe to her chest and promised herself that each year on her son Jesus' birthday, she would tell him about the day he was born, how he was welcomed into the world with generosity and celebration, how he was blessed by rabbis who proclaimed compassion and empathy as his charge and calling, how people offered their kindness of gifts of service without asking for fee or tax, how there was love surrounding all of them, and how she knew in her heart of hearts that this child of hers would grow to understand that the world did not turn on its axis by sheer force of nature or gravity or some magic conjured by a celestial being, but instead turned and changed and was made right by the power of love. And it was then that Mary opened her eyes, looked down at her child, and said out loud, "We are all made right, little one, over and over again by the power of love." We are going to pass around the light. You are welcome to sing Away in the Manger if you can hold on to a candle at the same time, okay? And then we're going to sing Silent Night, which will have a little bit of silence when we're all done singing, all right? If you would like the words for Silent Night, it's number 251 in your hymnal. May we hold these words with us as we close tonight. If only the world were as kind as a child can imagine it. Let us be bearers of light, of love, and of kindness. Amen.